Let's sing.
Oh, say, can you see, climbing on the green line, what so proudly we bear at the twilight's last gleam? There's stars and bright stars through the barrel of the sky, for the ramparts we won were so gallantly streaked, and the rocket's red glare was bursting in air. They proved to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Sessions has our invocation. Can you guys hear me? Yes.
All right, y'all bow with me, please. Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day you've given us. Thank you for this opportunity we have to gather together. Thank you for this club. Father, we thank you for what it does to this community. And I just pray, Father, that you'll just help us to be good stewards with the monies that we're given. And as we hand those out, we'll make sure we support very good causes as we have in the past. Father, I want to take this time to thank you for this food. Thank you for the hands who prepared it. Pray for your blessings on this club. Help us to always put service above self. All these things we ask in Christ's name.
Amen. Family of Rotary, there you go.
Good morning. I hope y'all have a great day. Make this quick. I know we got a long program today. The birthday today is Robert Ferguson, April 17th today. 2 anniversaries to celebrate this week: Ben Slingler and Shane on April 20th, along with Tim McCraney and Janet, also April 20th. Hope you all have a great week. Thank you.
Stephanie Walker, introduction of guests.
Good afternoon. We are happy to welcome our guests and visiting Rotarians today. When I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing until all visitors are recognized? Archie Solomon brought us a bunch of visitors today. Greg Rain, Bill Rafferty, David Askell, Kalita Moore, Jeff Carlisle, James Ivy, Donovan Arias, Tony Turner, Ray Arnold, Larry Anderson. And then Sheriff Donald Valenza, he brought three guests today: Margaret Valenza, Elizabeth Valenza, and Georgia Valenza. We'd like to thank everyone for being with us today. Is there anyone else that we've missed? All right, thank you for visiting.
Now pass.
Mix it up.
Hey, you don't want to be believed. He said it's all you. Thankfully, I've never had a dog. Does anybody get carried?
How many points? 758 points. The last 4 digits are 5304. 5304. Jack of clubs, the ace of the draw. Mayor Meadows has a.
Thank you, President Greg. Just wanted to remind everybody that our Rotary Ball is going to be this Saturday at Bella's. And as of right now, we're a little under around 40 tickets shy of selling out. But with where things stand at this moment in time with our expenses, it looks like that we're going to net $12,700 currently. Now, if we can sell, those last 40 tickets, that's $4,000. So I realize that coming to a ball is not, that ain't my thing. I like it. I'm looking forward to it. But I realize that may not be everybody's cup of tea on a Saturday night. But if you are interested in buying a couple tickets and maybe have somebody at your workplace or somebody in your family that you'd like to gift them to, it's going to be a good time. It's for a great cause. And we have sold a lot of tables and a lot of tickets out of this club. And so I just want to thank you guys for your support. This is the first time that we had, I think, the joint event, having a ball. Ball used to be something I think the Tuesday Club did. And to do this co-event with Tuesday has been great. And as you all know, these proceeds are going to the Rotary Miracle Field, which is something that we all believe in. And this is going to help to honor our commitment with some of the ongoing maintenance costs. And if you've been out there lately, you know that we're falling a little short on things that we've got to get done out there. And this is going to provide the funding for that. So thank you guys. If you need information, you can reach out to me or to President Greg. And we're glad to help you. Thank you.
Committee, that's really hard. Done a great job. I think we'll have a fun time. Archie Solomon as an announcement.
Okay, you're a sister. Thank you all for coming today. I'm going to try to tell you about somebody that we all know. Guy came to Dothan, Alabama in the late 70s to become a baseball player at Wallace College. Look a little bit behind Margaret. I'm talking about you, Donald. Our sheriff is the longest employed employee Houston County's ever had. It's still going. We're honoring you today with a Paul Harris Stone. Would you please come on? This is probably, and as you know, I'm sure you figured out what your land staff also back. Yeah. I told him I was gonna probably be in trouble. He doesn't like accolades and he doesn't like being patted on the back, but I can tell you, a strong leader is always has good guys behind him. And you look around the room and the people sitting, I know everybody that works for him, and they give their life, heart, and soul for us, people's constituents of each county. And I can tell you, pay ain't worth it. But at this time, Donald Valenza, our latest Paul Harris Fellow.
Presentation of the Paul Harris Fellow recognition is Rotary Foundation's way of expressing its appreciation for substantial contribution that has been made on your behalf. It's named for Rotary's founder, Paul Harris, a Chicago lawyer who started Rotary International with 3 business associates in 1905. Your gift to the Rotary Foundation's educational and humanitarian programs, a commitment to peace and a better life for people across the world whom you've never met. And it's because of gifts like yours that the Rotary Foundation is able to carry out an array of programs that achieve beneficial changes in our world. In becoming a Paul Harris Fellow, you join a remarkable company of persons throughout the world, all recognized for their devotion to the ideal of goodwill, peace, and understanding, a goal Rotarians around the world understand and that you clearly share. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to present to you, or to present the emblems. Rotary Paul Harris Fellow in pen.
Run one bullet. Don't back on it, you can stick it in.
Please rise and
You can stay up here. Now our program, our sheriff, Dothan.
And Archie definitely gave me a surprise with, all deputies. However, I think we're gonna change the program. I think Tony and Donovan's gonna come speak. Y'all surprised me like that. Now, I appreciate it, and we do have I wouldn't take nothing for our command staff and our department, if anything. We've come a long way. A lot of times when I do get to speak, it's always not very, in other words, it's always the dark side, things that are going on, things that are happening. I've spoken to Kiwanis and Tuesday Rotary last week. But the numbers keep changing every day. Change. I spoke to the Kiwanis back in January 23rd, and the definition of a mass shooting is 4 or more victims in one incident. The first 23 days of January, we had 43 mass shootings in the United States. As of today, counting Dateville, we're up around 148 mass shootings throughout the United States with 215 people dead. Multiple shots, multiple injured. A little bit about the Dateville. And there's a lot of questions, and I feel sure Sheriff Abbott is doing what I would probably do. Everybody's saying we're not getting a lot of info. The word came out, it was 4 dead, 21 shot. Well, I think the actual numbers are there's 4 dead, 2 possibly going to pass, and 28 were shot. It can happen anywhere. We've had shootings in Dothan. Just to give you just a rough idea, just a few of the shootings around the country. Goshen, Central California, 6 killed. Half Moon Bay, California, a firework, 18 killed. Monterey Park, California, 12 killed. Oakland, California, 8 shot, 1 killed. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 12 shot. Atlanta, during a riot, 6 shot, 1 killed. Miami Gardens, 10 shot. Huntsville, Alabama, 15 shot, 2 killed. Fort Pierce, 12 shot, 1 killed. Enoch, Utah, and a children's party, 8 killed. Nashville, of course, this was recent, 6 killed. Louisville, 9 shot, 5 killed. Coldwater, Mississippi, 6 killed. High Point, Carolina, 5. Southern Carolina. The list goes on and on and on. You know, and a lot of it, they talk about wanting to get stricter gun control laws. Let me tell you, if they start holding them accountable and start using the court system to punish them and make the stiffer sentences, I think that's a start. Because, you know, I've always said there is no such thing as gun control. They have their versions of it, but I don't own a single gun. But yet Jim and his dad own several. I'm gonna break into Jim's house and get the guns I need. You think I'm worried about getting caught for burglary? I'm fixing to go on a killing spree. There's no way gun control had anything to do with that. You know, they keep pointing fingers, make stiffer laws. We got some good laws. And then as soon as you think they're working, they change them. We changed our, Alabama went to constitutional carry. This is the 4th time the laws changed since 2012. Right now, they couldn't have handcuffed law enforcement more by putting constitutional carry. And it's the stipulations they put in the bill that's ridiculous. I mean, you know, we have not got an answer yet from the state or the lobbyists. They changed the law. It used to be 18 to 21, you get a permit. You couldn't leave the state. 21 older, 32 states honored that. Well, in today's time, now this new law is in effect. They left 18 out. Now, I don't know why you go to jail at 18, you know, used to be drafted at 18. But they left it out, and they have not even given us a definition of what do you charge somebody possession of a handgun under the age of 19. And it don't sound like much. It sounds like we want to go out and arrest everybody. We're not. But a lot of cases that we have are younger males with firearms, and basically right now we can't touch them unless they commit the crime. You might be lucky and get them before they commit it, but so far it hadn't been working. We had a house in Kansas during the last part of last year. We had a house in Kansas shot 50 times for an AK-47. Daleville had one shot 70 times with an AK-47. Dothan's had several houses, multiple injuries. You know, New Year's Eve night this year, several of us got out, and I had a reserve with me, and we would just ride looking, and there was an enormous number of shot fired calls New Year's Eve night. And of course, some people say, "Well, you sure it was gunfire?" Let me tell you, or firecrackers. Let me tell you, I ain't heard a firecracker yet sound like an AK-47. We got to the point we were riding through the neighborhoods with our lights out, trying to jump some of these shooters. It's unreal right now. So far, between the Dothan Police Department and the Houston County Sheriff's Office, this year, we're not even through 4 months yet. We've had over 300 calls, shots fired in Dothan. And trust me, it's shots fired. You can ask any of the patrol districts, they're the ones that have to go. I mean, we were averaging 5 to 10 a day. Some days you might not get any, some days you may get 10. Right now, it seems like there's no value of life on some of the younger generation. Peanut Festival parade. You know, when I first come to Dothan, it was a culture shock coming from New Orleans. You know, I met Frick, I came Frick this first year, there were 4 of us. You know, I make the comment, you know, where's the ball field? Oh, it's over there. That's a Comcast. No, it's gonna be the ball field. That's what Dothan was like when I got. Well, I've been through a lot of peanut festival parades. But I had a friend of mine, his granddaughter was in the parade, and I went to pick her up because it was easier for me to get through the back streets to get her back behind our office, to get her back to her grandparents. I got all the way up to the drive. This call goes out, shots fired, multiple people dead. And Judge Anderson and John Bird, several of them, were on the porch at the law office, no further from here to the back door, I mean, the door out there, from where the shooting took place. And, I mean, we had 2 shot, well, 2 shot, 1 died. And of course, you know, they tried to say he provoked it. No, I mean, they pulled cameras. Trust me, we got a lot of cameras now in Dothan, and we're fixing to have more. Dothan, I think, believe they have what, 32 maybe traffic cams. We're fixing to get block cameras that'll actually read tags. We can put bolos in these systems in this camera. Dale County has one on 231. They've recovered like 10 stolen cars already in the last year and a half. But there's cameras everywhere, and they got this guy on camera just walks up into this little circle and just shoots the guy dead right there, and then takes off running. Dothan has changed a lot. I highly encourage. I mean, everybody asks, "Are you going to take our guns away? You going to take?" I got so tired of Chief Deputy Carlisle and I said, "No, we're not taking guns." You know, well, they say they're going to take our. Finally, I said, "You know what? You know what? When I'm going to take your guns? When?" I said, "If I think it's not big enough." You know, I'm a firm believer in Second Amendment. I think everybody ought to have a gun. I think you need to know how to use it. We have a couple of deputies that are instructors. They taught a lot of civilians. I think you need to know how to properly handle a handgun. But I'm telling you, it's sad. It's to a point right now. I would think I didn't. That's just the way things are right now. Things have changed tremendously. I love Dothan. I spent my whole adult life here, and I wouldn't give it up for nothing. And like I said, I probably brought this up last time. You know, doing all the protests. And yeah, I'll mention I got the federal lawsuit over it. But, during the protests, you know, they were burning police departments, burning buildings. And I made a comment to a text message from the county attorney that he said, "I'm going out of town." I said, "Well, check 1323.3 Castle Doctrine." I said, "Business occupied after hours is the same as the castle." And I said, you know, if Molotov is now a bomb under Alabama law, I said, if they light a Molotov around one of my deputies, we're going to shoot them. Well, next thing you know, I get a text from the chairman at the time. "I don't think you meant to send that to me." I said, "I did. I didn't know it was a proof text." A lot of times I have to figure out my phone stuff. I have to ask Elizabeth. You know, but you know, and I said, I didn't send it to you, but I mean it. I said, they're not going to come burn down our city like they did to others. We had a group going around, and according to the media and everything around the country, they mapped the area, then they burned the vehicle. They burned 19 police LAPD cars on one street, not a single officer. Then we catch this bunch going around videoing, and of course he lied on a Corby form, coming in and put 2 different names. That's the only reason I stopped it. That and wanting to find out, is he really mapping? So I stopped them and they make the comment, you know, "Are we under arrest?" I said, "No, it's an investigation." And it goes on and on. Finally he turns the camera off and says, "No, we do this. We ride around acting suspicious video, and when y'all stop us, we sue you. And we're guaranteed $10,000. Then he turns the camera back. So anyway, I'll let that go. Well, then we got a call, recorded call to dispatch, said this is Antifa, we're gonna burn the sheriff's department and the police department. So we were ready. Captain Aries, Captain Turner, they're part of us white guys. Took a 20-man team behind the old mall waiting to see if they were gonna do it. And all I said was, I tried to call the chief at the time. All I was gonna say is, if they go into the mall, our guys are gonna go get them. We're not gonna let them burn it. And of course, nothing happened, thank goodness. And, we had a protest that day. And we had no problems. But it was pathetic when you got young kids coming out in protests. What's going on around the country about defunded police, and they don't even know why they're there at the courthouse holding the sign. That was one thing that we all got sort of offended over, but it's their right. The guy that shot the guy, at the Peanut Festival, let me back up a second. The one that actually shot, if I'm not mistaken, one of these shootings we had, the guy was on bond for shooting a guy in the car prior to that. So, you know, he should have never been on. I tell our deputies, there's no such thing as a simple call. We had a simple eviction notice one year, about 7 years ago, 8 years ago. We had a simple eviction notice where they go, finally serve the final notice, they go there and they more or less stand by while they move all the furniture out. Well, one deputy goes outside, take a smoke, the other deputy goes to the bathroom, and all of a sudden they hear a 357 Magnum go off in the house. Then they hear it again, and one outside's hollering, one inside, you okay, you okay? What happened was the man fired one round in the pill and fired the second round in his head. There's nothing simple about law enforcement. I guess the most simplest is the hardest for me, and that's to get up and speak in front of you. But it's, you know, times, we're going through different times right now where culture, we never dreamed of some of the things that young people do today. They had one of the murder suspects from Dothan, put it on social media. And of course, my guys monitor it all the time, especially our SROs monitor social media. But one of them was a suspect in one of Dothan's murders, put on his little messenger, come January 1 constitutional carry, mama hug you babies, let the wild, wild west begin. And that was relating to the constitutional carry as of January 1 this year. Well, let me tell you something. The Wild Wild West has begun. Like I said, to think you're living in Dothan and have over 300 calls, shots fired. And I'm not sure, last I looked, I think it was like 39, 40 assaults, firearm assaults so far. We, defund the police. Now our leaders are complaining about crime is out of control. I watched Fox News this morning at the office. We monitored to see what's going on around the country. Several of the representatives, mayor, all in New York, the crime's out of control. We got to do something. We got to do something. Well, it wasn't 2 years ago they were wanting to defund police, take their budgets away, give them less equipment to work with. Now they realize we are having problems. Once you give it up, it's hard to regain it, to get control back. We're one of the only sheriff's departments in the state still works city and county. All the others, they get calls in the city, you call the police. Well, we get so many calls. First 7 months of last year, we had 39,000 calls generated from the sheriff's office. And it could be, some of them could be serious crimes, some could be not. But we wound up with 39,000. I tell the deputies, just do your job. Be professional, watch yourself, take care of yourself. Because I'm gonna tell you, when one gets hurt, and we've had some hurt, it hurts. I mean, they're like your kids. You get a call like Ben Parrish. He was going on a call, and you get a call where, okay, one of your deputies just got hurt real bad. He's at the hospital. His car's upside down. A passerby saw it. They had to cut him out of the car. Chief Carlisle was there that night. I go to the hospital. And here's my deputy, they said at the time he had several broken bones. He was not talking, you know. The doctor says, I gotta have somebody to get him to talk. You know, and it's hard to watch one of your deputies laying there like that. So I said, you know, Ben, it's gonna be okay. I said, they're gonna fix you, Ben. We had a neck brace on, he opened his eyes, looked out the corner of his eyes. I said, I hit a deer one time when I was in patrol, a long time ago. He said, Sheriff, you hit a deer with a horse and buggy? But just, you know, some things like that, like one night, you know, you don't never know what it's. Two of our guys was pulling, just sitting there with their lights on, they were pulling a cable across 431. Well, semi trucks coming southbound, falls asleep at 70 miles an hour, hits the first Tahoe, and thank goodness the deputy wasn't in it, but he crushed the Tahoe all the way to the back seat, spun it around, I don't know how many times. Went across the median and hit the other Tahoe, and the deputy was in the vehicle, crushed it to the back seat. That's why I'm a firm believer of Tahoes, I'm telling you. I know what they'll do, they'll take a hit. But I get a call that says, a semi just hit two of your Tahoes at 70 miles an hour. We don't know if your deputies are alive or not. Let me tell you, that works. You get them thinking, you know, well, I saw him yesterday, you know, man, I've never seen him again. It's hard, and I think some of my upper command staff now that they're at a higher position, I think they start seeing that more than they did from before. In 2000, I had 3 homicides going. They had a thing on DEA, it was a bottle of, I don't know, wine or something, and they called it liquid crack. And I found a bottle of it in a store when I went home to see my family or my mom's grave in there. And so I got a bottle just for a souvenir because they were talking about it. They talk about you drink it, you fall out before you get to the register. So anyway, I thought, okay, we clear this murder. I'm gonna see what it's like. Well, I didn't no sooner get this murder cleared, I had another one. Right after. I said, okay, that's on hold. So we worked that murder. It was Lonnie Morris, Betsy 3, and then the Spivey in Columbia. So after the second one, I said, boy, I really need to bust that bottle now. Well, the third murder comes. And after that, of course, I don't know where the bottle's at. I didn't drink it. But I was sitting there one night, and just show you I was bored. And of course, Elizabeth was small. She heard Margaret and I talking about the street murder with Beckworth. I had to go up the hills of North Alabama for 3 weeks looking for it. And I told Margaret, you know, hey, this is what I did, this is what we got. I didn't think at her age she could pick that up. She goes to school, and if you called in by principals and says, we need to talk to you about your. I said, okay. She keeps talking about your daddy's hunting this man backward for murder. And is your daughter, what's going on with that? I said, I didn't think she could put 2 and 2 together when we talked. But anyway, I wrote a poem one night, and you can tell I was really bored. And by the way, I'm not a poet. It started off like life of an investigator. I try to stay focused with an open mind. I disconnect no one from committing a crime. Anyone can commit a crime. Now it's up to you to find. Everyone is a suspect, and now it's up to you to detect. And when the case is finally done, only then you can go home and have some fun. There are rainbows in the investigator's field. No, there are no rainbows in the investigator's field, only the tragedies others feel. And when the day comes and you make that arrest, then you can look back and say, I gave it my best. You know, you think about it, and it has a lot of meaning to it. That doesn't mean I'm gonna get into it. I was bored that night, and I had to do it. But I appreciate it, and if y'all got any questions on things that are going on around today, and we are, by the way, I'm sure some of y'all saw it. We're starting another police academy in Dothan at the Wiregrass Training Center. And if you've never been out there, you need to go see this place. But they are gonna start having another academy. They did the opening little welcome last week. And Archie, where do you go?
Right here.
Next time, let me know when you bring it, everybody. Judge Anderson, he's retired now. Well, Judge Conway's retired. And he was the first one I met coming to Dothan. Stopped at a Waffle House and says, can you tell me where the courthouse is? I said, well, I was in uniform. I said, well, yeah, go down the street right here. Okay, then I find out he's gonna be in the district attorney's office. But anyway, any questions? Yes, sir.
How much do you think parental or lack of parental guidance has to do with this kid?
I think on the line right now, I don't think it's. I think it's temporary, and I think they're going too far to try to regain and change their direction. I think it's just gonna continue until, I hate saying it, until they get caught, they get killed. One of the two is gonna have to be the change.
Are there any common sense laws that could be passed that would reduce all of these?
I mean, I don't know if they are, but I would say if they're held more accountable and stiffer sentences, I think that would widen some of them. Some of them know right now, they know what the law, they know what the possible time they might get. And I think a lot of it right now is a lot of video games. You know, you look, Grand Theft Auto and some of these other ones. I think some of them are trying to live that on the street in real life. I say they stay so focused on playing these games. They want to be part of it. And in their mind on the street, they're not looking at what the consequences turns out. You know, game, you shoot somebody, it's over. On the street, you shoot somebody, you're in trouble. So, yeah.
How much of an impact drugs have with shooting?
How much what?
How much of an impact drugs have in
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and blame it all on drugs. I think some of it could be, but do I actually think it led to the shooting? I don't think so. I mean, I'm not saying it don't ever happen, but I don't think it's something that everybody can look at and say, oh, it's all drug related. I think a lot of it, I think we're starting to experience a little more now. They tried to have gangs back in the 80s and the late 80s, and they were jokes. I mean, like they would claim there'd be a folk. Well, the real folks didn't have white males in it, you know, and it was just a social thing back then. But I think in today's time now, we had a guy going home from AutoZone on 84 West, car comes up on the side of it and puts six rounds into the passenger car door, he hit him twice. You know, and I don't know what really brought it on. He was on his way home, but if I was gonna guess, I was gonna say, you wanna be in a gang, you gotta prove yourself. You know, show me you're not an undercover working, trying to catch us. Shoot that car right there with that man in it. Well, when you do, it's obvious you're not a informant, because you can't do that. So I don't put it all on drugs, no.
As far as the school shootings, like the way the media makes these people famous, perpetuates that.
Well, we have, I'll tell you, I didn't used to not look at it that way, SRO, school resource officer. We had one, and when I stepped up at 14, I pulled another one out of patrol. And then our director at the time, Bobby Timmons, at the Sheriff's Association, he said, Don, you need to train your SROs just like you do your SWAT guys. Because they're on their own for 10 to 20 minutes before they get back. And we all see the shootings don't last that. So David Sewell was in, he was the superintendent at the time. He said, we're gonna pay for 5 more SROs. So they give us 7. Well, then Brandy White come in, and there was money there, and he said, you know what, we're gonna pay and get SROs in all the counties. And it's been good, and of course, we're looking now, we've been in contact with 2 private schools, and we're gonna reach to the other 2, because I don't want to think we don't care. But we're looking at possibly going ahead and taking the 2 privates to do it. You know, you look at it, and you think about, and our guys, the SROs are really, different deputies. And when I say that, I mean it good. They monitor the social media, the TikTok, all those different things. And you'd be surprised when they come up and say, I got one Texan talking about bringing a gun to school tomorrow. Captain Aries, and then we'll put all the investigators out. And I'll tell them, don't go home till you find it. Find him, confront him, see if there's much threat to it. And if it's serious, if you think it's threat, take him in custody. If it's not, let his parents know, let him know we're gonna be watching. And that works. We're actually looking at adding another SRO and we're hoping to be 4 because the buildings are being split. So at one time I was asked, and this shocked me. Chairman Culver says, how would you like 30 deputies? How would you like to hire 30? And I said, 30? He said, yeah, I'm gonna talk to Mark and we're gonna see about doing all the schools in Houston County. And this is in May. And I said, when's this gotta be ready? He said, not August. I said, no, I don't want it. He said, you don't want to hire 30 deputies? We go through interviews for a deputy. It takes us sometimes 10 to 15 applications to hire one deputy. I mean, you don't want to just hire somebody to fill a spot. And there's just not that many. And when you have a young guy get in law enforcement, he don't want to go to school. He wants to be with an action. But he doesn't realize you're in that school, when it does come, it's going to be more than you can handle. But we train our SROs now, Captain Aries and turn us 2 of the SWAT commanders, and they'll take them to do room clearing, they take them to the range. They've worked with them, and now I feel better. But I didn't look at it that way to start with. I thought, okay, they're in the school. But then school shootings are just enormous, and they don't last long. And then, I think Cat Mary's gonna answer that. No, we are, we do have an issue with it, but, really, he's over the vice narcotics.
So fentanyl is like really bad right now. And it's everywhere. It's kind of like the biggest, newest drug out there. We're not having an issue with the powder, which is what the high potency is that everyone's having breathing problems and everything. We're coming across a lot of pills, so it's already pill pressed. And it's not as bad as far as the potency just breathing it, but taking it and the kids and everything else are getting it, their little colored pills. So it is really bad.
Paul and them, I'm not sure who's sponsoring, Paul's in my problem. But they're sponsoring the bill this session for fentanyl use. In other words, protecting first responders. If a first responder gets in and gets in contact and it turns the other way for him, they're put in a different penalty for first responders. So that's good. Gives us a little more confidence. Okay.
What is the effect of, what is the latest drug? Is it fentanyl? Is that
Well,
the-
it is here. There's a synthetic opioid that's come out that makes fentanyl look like marijuana. I mean, it's nothing. Yeah, there's supposedly no, we carry Narcan, our guys do. And I tell them, if you get in there and you start feeling it, you get that Narcan on yourself, we'll deal with him later. It sounds cruel, but no, my people come first. They didn't ask to get into that, they're doing their job. And, but you heard that synthetic opioid, I think it was Louisiana and Arkansas were two locations where it was first saw it. And Narcan has no effect on it at all. That it?
Sheriff Valenza, we thank you for what you do for us. This has got to be the safest meeting we've ever had. Let's all stand and repeat the four-way test. By the way, there's a board meeting. Of the things we think, say, or do.
Is true, and they are all concerned, will build goodwill and better friendship. Will be beneficial to all concerned.